For over a century, people coming out of the deepest parts of the Amazon have been describing the same thing: a snake. So massive it moves like a river itself. Silent, enormous, impossible. Scientists dismissed every single report. Explorers called it legend. And then, buried inside a coal mine in Colombia, they found the bones. And suddenly, nothing seemed impossible anymore. To understand what could be hiding in the Amazon, you first have to understand what the Amazon actually is. 7 million square kilometers of living, breathing wilderness stretching across an entire continent. A freshwater network so vast, rivers, swamps, flooded forests, underground channels, that scientists still haven't fully mapped it. Every rainy season, enormous sections of the forest simply disappear underwater for months. Entire landscapes submerged, silent, dark, completely inaccessible. And in that world lives the Green Anaconda, the largest snake alive today. Semi-aquatic, comfortable in water and on land, built to hunt in murky rivers where visibility is essentially zero. An ambush predator that can go months between meals, then vanish beneath the surface like it never existed. But here's what most people don't realize about anacondas. The largest clearly documented specimen, recorded by the Natural History Museum in London, measured 8.43 meters and weighed over 200 kilograms. That's nearly 28 feet long. An animal the size of a telephone pole, moving silently through black water. And scientists believe that's nowhere near the biological limit. If any ecosystem on Earth could hide something extraordinary, it's this one. And the Amazon has been hiding things for a very long time. Long before modern science started taking giant snake reports seriously, explorers were documenting them firsthand and struggling to explain what they encountered. In the 19th century, naturalists Henry Walter Bates and Alfred Russel Wallace, two of the most respected field scientists of their era, traveled extensively through the Amazon and recorded accounts of snakes reaching 9 to 12 meters from local communities and river traders. They took these reports seriously enough to document them in detail. Yet in their own expeditions, the largest anacondas they personally measured were significantly smaller. The accounts existed. The physical evidence kept slipping away. In 1907, British explorer Percy Fawcett reported encountering a snake he measured at over 18 meters along a tributary of the Amazon. Around 1910, Theodore Roosevelt, former U.S. president and serious naturalist, offered a reward of $50,000 for a giant anaconda measuring over 10 meters delivered alive to the Bronx Zoo. The reward was never claimed. Not because people stopped looking, because the Amazon kept its answer. In 2016, a report from Para, Brazil described an anaconda exceeding 10 meters discovered during construction work near a riverbank. Over a century of accounts, across different countries, different cultures, different centuries. The pattern never changes, and that pattern itself tells you something. In the early 2000s, miners working a coal deposit in Sarajevo, northern Colombia, cracked open something that stopped the scientific world cold. Enormous vertebrae, the size of dinner plates, belonging to a snake that no living species even comes close to matching. Formally described in 2009, Titanoboa saragenensis changed everything we thought we knew about what snakes were biologically capable of becoming. 15 meters long, a body diameter approaching 1 meter at its widest point, weighing over a metric ton. The largest snake ever documented in the entire history of life on Earth. Titanoboa belonged to the boa lineage, the same evolutionary family as the anaconda alive in the Amazon right now. Same anatomy, same constricting method, same semi-aquatic lifestyle, just built on a scale the modern world has never seen. It fed on giant caimans, predators that were already enormous by any standard. And it did so completely unchallenged, because in its ecosystem, nothing that existed could threaten it. For years, scientists assumed Titanoboa's extraordinary size came down to one factor: temperature. Snakes are ectothermic. Warmer environments accelerate metabolism and support larger body mass. The ancient Amazon during the Paleocene epoch was significantly hotter than today, averaging temperatures that modern tropical regions rarely reach. Simple explanation: temperature equals size. Researchers now argue that temperature alone cannot account for a snake reaching 1 metric ton. The ancient Amazon wasn't the dense canopy jungle we recognize today. It was dominated by vast, slow-moving wetland systems, enormous shallow waterways stretching for hundreds of miles, packed with fish, giant turtles, freshwater sharks, and massive crocodilians from the ancient Dinosauridae family. Titanoboa didn't just benefit from heat. It benefited from an ecosystem so extraordinarily productive, so rich in large prey, that a 1-ton snake could actually sustain itself. Here's what makes this genuinely unsettling. A significant portion of that ecosystem still exists today, compressed, reduced, but fundamentally the same. In 2024, during a scientific expedition in the Ecuadorian Amazon joined by actor Will Smith, researchers documented an anaconda exceeding 6 meters, one of the largest ever clearly recorded in modern scientific literature. But the size wasn't even the most significant finding. Genetic analysis conducted during the expedition revealed something that rewrote the anaconda family tree entirely. The giant anacondas of northern South America, the ones inhabiting the deepest, most remote sections of the Amazon basin, are actually a completely separate species, a distinct evolutionary lineage that diverged from their southern relatives nearly 10 million years ago. A species that have been living in the Amazon for 10 million years without science even knowing it existed. 10 million years, hidden in plain sight. That single discovery should reframe every conversation about what else might be living in ecosystems we haven't properly surveyed. The ecosystem has not fundamentally changed. It's just been compressed into the areas humans have not reached yet. And the anaconda, Titanoboa's closest living relative, already demonstrates biology that makes the possibility of extreme size impossible to rule out. Anacondas practice what biologists call indeterminate growth. They never stop growing. It continues increasing in size for its entire lifespan. Anacondas regularly live for 25 to 30 years in the wild. And then there's the water factor. Anacondas spend the majority of their lives submerged, and that changes the physical equation of body size entirely. A 2025 study conducted over 12 years of field research in the Peruvian Amazon attached radio transmitters to multiple anacondas, giving researchers precise GPS coordinates of each animal's exact location at all times. The results were extraordinary. Even when scientists knew exactly where an anaconda was, exact coordinates, confirmed signal, they could only visually detect the animal in 17% of recorded locations. 83% of the time, the snake was completely invisible, buried under riverbank vegetation, submerged beneath leaf litter, with only nostrils exposed, hidden inside hollow logs, motionless in black water that revealed nothing. Scientifically confirmed location, completely undetectable. Now apply that invisibility to the vast majority of the Amazon that has never been surveyed at all. The remote tributaries that require weeks of boat travel to reach. The flooded forest systems that remain underwater for months every year. The river channels that no scientific expedition has ever navigated. If a known tracked anaconda is invisible 83% of the time in studied areas, what is living undetected in the areas nobody's ever looked? Titanoboa disappeared from the fossil record, but the Amazon does not keep fossils. It keeps secrets, and some of those secrets are still moving through the water right now. If the largest anaconda this planet has ever produced surfaced right in front of you, what would your first reaction actually be? Drop it in the comments, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.